This is Fee.
Hi. How you doing? Come here.
Fee's going to be our first test cat in our experimental boot camp. He just came in from the outside. He's used to being outdoors. He's used to having full freedom to do whatever he wants. He is now in a small space, confined, pent up, doing a lot of vocalizing, rubbing on walls, rubbing on people. Don't bite me, Fee. Rubbing on shoes. Rubbing. What he's doing is trying to get his scent all over everything, claiming it as his own, as he did outdoors with his own male spray. Rubbing. One of the best things we can do for these cats is to get their energy out through play. While we may want to hug them and sit with them, we need to think about what's best for them and what's going to help their mental stimulation, mental health. And just like we learned from Jackson Galaxy, when you're thinking about a cat who is a little bit less domesticated than dogs in the way that they view the world, the cycle for a cat is to hunt, kill, and eat. So part of this will be playing with him, getting out that initial frustration and energy, and then working with him on some basic commands to help him just be a better pet, and to feel less overstimulated. Here's an example of a lot of rubbing. Again, we view this as communication, and it is, but right now, because this is a new cat and he's getting used to stuff, it's too much. So we're just going to ignore it, and as we ignore behavior we don't like and reward behavior we do like, the behavior we don't like is going to fade away. And I know it's hard when cats are rubbing on us. We want to think, oh, they love us, but he doesn't know Mary Jane, and he certainly doesn't love her at this time. He's just rubbing. He's trying to get his scent, figure out what's going on.
The goal with cats like Fee is we don't want to encourage that behavior where that initially they're excited and they're just rubbing. And that can quickly ramp up into overstimulated and then to worse behaviors. So when he comes to rub on us, we're just going to ignore him and redirect his attention. And when he chooses not to, he gets a click and a treat. And he doesn't always have to sit. I'm just paying attention to him, and anytime he makes a choice to not rub. So that could be sitting on his mat. It could also be when he walks close to you, but pauses just for a minute and makes eye contact, and you can see his little brain working, and he made a choice not to rub. And when he does rub on you, it's not the time to pet him. It's just ignore him and get back to the training. So initially, Fee seemed pretty nervous, or what we were identifying as being kind of insecure when you would walk around his space, either go to his litter box or you would, move his bedding around. He's kind of walking with purpose right at you. And so, what we're doing to work on that is we are walking around the room and touching his things and, calmly rewarding him when he follows us, but he either sits, makes eye contact, or, chooses not to rub. And here's another day where I come in and take the lead. And we want to try to be as consistent as possible in the way that we are interacting with him, no matter who's in for the shift. So that means following the same routine. And we're going to ignore this type of exuberant rubbing. We're not going to talk to him. We're not going to pet him. Calmly get his attention and refocus him on what you want him to be doing. After training, it's time for interactive play. And this is where you can really help him get out a lot of his energy. And you want to play like Jackson says, be the prey. Really get him going on the hunt. Get him jumping, spinning, jumping up and off of things. And then every once in a while, let him catch it. And then go back to it. So we've been playing with the lawn toy for a while, so now I want to see if he's interested in some pets. I'm going to ask him first if he wants to come over for pets. You can see he does come over. He gives me his forehead, and I give him a few pets on the head and the cheeks. He really likes the cheek rubs, and then he's really leaning into them. Once he rolls on his back and his feet go up in the air, I pull away and stop that interaction because it was just getting a little bit too amped up for me. So we go right back to playing. Here's a clip of an unwanted interaction. So he comes over to me. I don't invite him. I'm not talking to him. And he is exuberantly rubbing on my foot. So I don't pet him. I ignore him. Eliza calmly gets his attention and gets him back to training. You can see the difference here when I invite him over for pets. So we kind of have a natural end of this play. I drop the toy and see if he wants to come over. And he does come over for pets. He does a little rubbing like he's gonna do. I ask for pets again, and he comes over. And if you notice here, he pauses at the toy. That's actually a cue that he wants more play. He still comes over, he gives me his forehead, and he's enjoying these pets. But that was a cue that he wants more play. When you're working with cats, it's really important to be present, to be mindful of the subtle cues that they're giving you, and make sure that you're giving them the interactions that are best for them. Not all cats want a lot of physical affection. For cats like Fee, the best way that you can support and help him is to keep to his routine and make sure he's getting a lot of play. Here's another example. It's pretty obvious what he wants.
Come on. Do you want to come here? No? You want the toy instead?
All right, so we're gonna go through the rundown of his routine, which when he comes in, he's gonna be very excited to see you. We wanna go right into training, so have your clicker and your treat ready so that whenever he makes a choice not to rub, so it might be subtle, he might be 6 to 8 inches from you, but he pauses just for a moment. Be ready to click. If he looks up at you, click and treat. If he sits, obviously click and treat. And then you can work on some of the tricks that he might be doing. But always being consistent. When he makes the choice to sit, pause, look at you, instead of rub, click and treat. After 3 to 5 minutes of training, then you're going to move into interactive play. And for cats like Fee, this is where you're going to spend the bulk of your time. You really want to get them going and simulate a hunt. Make sure to utilize all the different enrichment items that we have available, like tunnels and bags and different things for them to pounce on and make noise. When he starts to tire out and there's a kind of natural end to the play cycle, then you can try to just have some quiet time with him. You can sit down and you can just talk to him. You could read the news. You could sit quietly and kind of let him do what he wants to do. If he wants to be petted, this is a great time to do that. But you always want to be mindful of his body language and what he's telling you and any signs that he might be ramping up. Again, he's letting me know that he wants more of his toy.
So it's time for play again. You want to end the session when things are kind of naturally winding down. So you can give him a couple crunchy treats or kibble or a solo toy to investigate as you quietly leave the room.